Today we're going to show you how to make a very simple pizza dough. It's excellent, but it's very easy. You probably, if you were like me starting out, probably overwhelmed with the number of pizza recipes that are online and how complicated some of the dough recipes are. This is absolutely simple. We're going to start with, we're going to have 27 ounces of flour, ½ ounce of salt, 1 pack of pizza crust yeast, and 1 bottle of water, or 16.9 ounces. I just made it to match up with this so that I don't have to measure the water. So the most important thing I'm going to tell you when making pizza is buy a scale. They're not expensive, but it'll make your pizza perfect. A cup can weigh a lot of different weights depending on how well it's packed. If you weigh it, it'll always come out the same. So I'm going to start by measuring out 27 ounces of flour. And theoretically, you can use any kind of flour. I prefer to use bread flour. It seems to give me the best results. Has a higher protein content, which helps with the gluten formation. Right, there you go. And I'm going to add a ½ ounce of salt. And 1 pack of yeast. And also, I've tried every different variety, making it by hand, making it in a KitchenAid blender, all kinds of different ways. For me, the fastest and best results have been using a food processor. For this recipe, which you can see here, all the ingredients are listed here. You will need a 7-cup food processor to fit the ingredients that we're going to add in there. So the first thing, I'm just going to throw all the ingredients together, all the dry ingredients. You'll see a lot of recipes tell you to mix the yeast with water and sugar and let it foam and all that stuff. Not required. All you need to do is add it in to the dry ingredients. Mix it up in just a few minutes to get the stuff mixed up. Pour in your bottle of water. Lid back on, and about 30 seconds and you're going to have dough ready to go. You can see it start to form up together. And that should be good there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flour my surface just a little bit, not a whole lot. Just give myself a little to work with. Your dough should drop right out. Now what I'll do just a little bit, just because it's not completely formed how I want it, I'll just knead it a couple of times just to kind of smooth it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. And once it's fairly smooth on top, just kind of push everything underneath to kind of form a ball. And then we're going to set that on the floured surface, and I'm going to cover that for probably about 10 minutes just to let it form some gluten. All right, so while we're waiting for this to rest for about 10 minutes, I'm going to get my containers and lightly grease them with olive oil just a little bit, not like pooled in there, but just enough to coat the side so that the dough won't stick to it. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend you get one of these. This is great for cutting your dough. So now we're going to take our dough here. We're going to zero out our scale. I'm going to separate it into about 15 to 16 ounces because I like to make my pizzas at about 16 inches. You can make less depending on what size pizza you want to make. If you want to go with like a 10 to 12 inch, I would go with about 10 or 11 ounces. So now it's just a matter of, you'll get this with practice, but just kind of get a... All right, so that's about 16. All right, perfect. So now this is the trick here. So you want to keep the part that's kind of sticky away from you, find a smooth spot, and just slowly kind of fold it away until you kind of get a ball form. And just kind of squeeze it together at the bottom, and then you'll see you get kind of a pretty good looking ball there. Do the same with the other ones. And this does take a little bit of practice, but you'll get it. And now once you've got that, I put it top side down first just to kind of coat it with oil and flip it back over. And now you've got a couple of options here. You can let it sit at room temperature for roughly about 2 hours is normally what I do, and then it's ready to form into a pizza. You can put it in the refrigerator, which I highly recommend if you have the time, and let it sit for a couple of days. It'll rise very slowly, and it'll have a lot better flavor when you bake it. Or you can freeze it and then take it out and thaw it out later. That's all there is to it. Nice and easy.